Hi, my name's Tim Gillingham. I'm here today with HAMSKEA Archery Solutions. Now, HAMSKEA Archery Solutions is a company I founded with a couple friends of mine, Sean Greathouse and Andrew Munsell. Now, they're the guys that do all the work, but anyway, we're here today to show you, what HAMSKEA's all about. Now, in my 27-year archery career, I've come across a variety of problems that need solved. And the idea is we're going to build some different products that are really going to make your archery life a lot better. The things I learned in my archery career, I learned through trial and error, listening to other people. Some of that advice didn't really pan out, and I really had to learn and research this stuff and figure it out. Now, one of the first little devices we made that's really going to make your archery life easy is this little easy third axis level. Now, even at the highest levels, of professional archery, sight leveling is a very misunderstood topic. And I find guys all the time that really do not understand it, and especially in the amateur ranks of competitive archery. And in the bow hunting ranks, nobody really understands it, just a very few, select few. And it's very important for maximum accuracy. And we've created this little sight leveling device that with a 5-minute lesson, I can teach you everything you need to know about sight leveling. So stick with us here. We're going to show you some of the traditional methods of leveling sights. We're going to go through some of the devices that you can use to level sights, and we're going to dispel some of the myths about leveling sights. In the end, we're going to show you a really simple tool that's going to make your life really easy. Well, let's get right to it. Well, many of you target archers out there, and probably a few of you bow hunters, have heard of different ways of leveling sights. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of people leveling their sight to a door jamb, or even taking a big level here, and they put this level on the side of the riser and level the sight off of that, or use a string level, or what have you. But let me give you a little tip. Limb pockets have absolutely nothing to do with the leveling of the sight. You go to other devices like this bright sight tuner here. Man, when I got this thing, I thought I had it whipped. I really thought I had sight leveling whipped. But it didn't take certain things into consideration, and it did not solve all the problems in sight leveling. So what did I do? I went and spent more money. I got this $250 Medicine Stone Super Tuner. It comes with a couple of these little machine levels. Holds your bow in there and allows you to tip it straight up and down. Comes with a string level. Comes with a level that goes on your arrow. But that didn't 100% solve all my leveling issues. Well, through all these trials and tribulations, I really had to sit back and figure out, well, what is important in sight leveling? And once I figured that out, I came up with this little device called an Easy Third Axis Level. This little $35 device will do everything you could possibly ever need to do in sight leveling. And whether you're using a traditional pin sight like this, or you're using a state-of-the-art Toxonics nail driver sight like this with all the micro adjustments, it really doesn't matter. This little device will, with a 5-minute lesson, teach you everything you need to know about sight leveling. Well, I think it's very important to me to have you really understand sight leveling, not just buy a third axis level and do what I tell you to do. You need to really understand what it is you're doing, to really fully understand sight leveling. And it took me quite a few years to really understand this. And it's really not that difficult, and I'm going to explain it to you in very simple terms. You basically have 3 levels of axis. You have first, second, and third. Now, very simple. Your first axis is your vertical block. On this particular pin sight, it's the vertical block that your pins are mounted into, okay? Everything is leveled to that. Now, on this scope sight, it's the vertical block here that your scope slides up and down on, okay? And everything's going to be leveled to that. Now, second axis is the bubble's relationship to the first axis. It's this angle, okay? Same thing on this side. Third axis now is the bubble's relationship to this plane, okay? It has to be perfectly perpendicular to the plane of movement. So let's go back and look at the level bubble and really see why it matters. Now, what is the level bubble? Why do we have a level bubble in a sight? Well, a level bubble is an indicator. It tells me certain information. When it's properly set up in the second axis, this angle, it tells me that when I level that bubble, my pins are running straight up and down, okay? Very, very important. On a tournament sight, it tells me when I level that bubble and it's properly set up, that my vertical block is perfectly plumb, you know, so that my sight is, you know, my scope is running straight up and down that block. It's not running at an angle and going to cause me left and rights. Now, that'll cover you on flat ground. But when you get into shooting ups and down hills, very, very important that your third axis is level. And one of the big things that took me a lot of years to really understand was the fact that third axis had to be done at full draw. It has to be there with the sight mounted on the bow, full torque effect into the sight, and it has to be done at full draw. Now, you know, what third axis, you know, will cause you problems with is if your third axis is off a little bit, you know, it's angled like this, say, you know, and you're tipping this bow straight up and down, that bubble's going to run out left or it's going to run out right. You're going to cross level that bow to get it back, and you're, in a sense, you're basically canting your bow from where you would have been standing on flat ground. So that's going to cause you to hit right or left, and we're going to illustrate later in here, you know, how much it'll actually cause you to hit left and right with, say, you know, a full bubble off on your sight level. So we have a bow setup here. We're going to go through and show you exactly what we're talking about. You know, what happens when your sight bubble is off and you tip your bow up and down, you know, illustrating an uphill or downhill shot. Now, you probably ask, well, why is this so important? Well, you know, just imagine this. Imagine you've got a buck pattern here on the side of a hillside, and he's always gone above your stand. And so you got this stand set up so you got a fairly flat shot. Well, all of a sudden, he's 35 yards down below you, and you're 20 foot up in a tree. That's about a 40-degree slope. I mean, that's a pretty tough shot. Now, if you're a full bubble off on your sight for whatever reason, you know, that could equate to a miss 6 to 8 inches to the right, and you know, a marginal shot. You may never even recover that animal. If you want to look at it from a 3D standpoint, you know, we shoot from some pretty severe places like Ellicottville, New York, up on these ski resorts, and you know, you may get a 45-yard shot where, you know, you're downhill quite a bit, and you've made the perfect shot, and you've leveled everything up, and you just thought you made the best shot in the world, and you're 4 inches to the right. Well, very good chance your third axis is not properly set up.